and Filipino bands of the three speakers versus German below. The next is Mr. Walking the Sea as president of finally, George as vice Dr. Cynthia Lia, who is the Chinese director of the Ateneo de Manila University. First speaker will be Herman Paganto Morel and his work in his opening remarks.
Actually, the second speaker will be Dr. Cynthia Diaz, who is currently in Flow. And then the third speaker, the final speaker, where we will have a lengthy discussion on cultural aspects of Chinese and Filipino culture. Mr. PROXY, an author and co-author of 9 books on Filipino and Chinese culture. And as well as Madam Cynthia Liang, who has been in the Philippines for many, many years. We have known her for many years too, and she has been a splendid example of the unity of and harmony of Chinese and Philippine culture. Okay. In Metro Manila, as in many other cities and Chinatown, thousands of them, both dozens in the Philippines and thousands across the world, Chinatowns across the world. The Chinese Spring Festival, which also contains the Lunar New Year, and Mr. Hawkins will try to explain the difference between the names being called for this event. Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, Spring Festival, tama and appropriate. Will be celebrated in the next few days leading to January 29, 2025. Let's take a look at our UNESCO of the declaration of the Spring Festival, listing of the Spring Festival as an intangible heritage of humanity, and it's worth one of my screens a background with our festival. I think we can be part of it. Spring Festival, social practices of the Chinese people in celebration of the New Year. Nomination was filed and finally approved on December 4, 2024, last month and last year, and which the world is now celebrating. What is of particular significance in this year's Spring Festival celebration is the recent declaration of the listing by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, of the festival as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Here one of the posters of UNESCO, cultural diversity is the heritage of humanity. This international event, we should celebrate as an Asian event. We Asians have a common root and destiny, especially in this 21st century, dubbed as the Asian century. And we take this opportunity to mark the intangible and other cultural heritage of the Philippines too. As we can see in the next slide, Asia and ASEAN culture. The next slide. Following, yeah, that's Asia is very rich in its cultural heritage, and the Philippines too has had at least 70, I will present later on, cultural practices that have been declared or listed in the UNESCO listing of intangible cultural heritage and other classifications. Asian culture is known for the predominance of the spirit of harmony. Okay, now. Predominance of the spirit of harmony and the quest for peace. It is often said that with the advent of the Asian century, the world is also moving toward a culture of peace and an era of forever peace and prosperity. From a culture of violence, we seek this world to proceed to a culture of peace. From the UNESCO Library, we reproduced it poster. The next one, if we may look at the, yeah, from the culture of violence to the culture of peace. Humanity in the world is beautiful in its diversity of people, cultures, and systems. We should cherish this and enrich it. The beauty of the world lies in the diversity of the people. It is therefore also opportune to consider and reflect the geopolitical implications of the harmonization of international cultures and work toward the dialogue of civilization and leave to the past the notion of the clash of civilization. I think these are very significant differences between the East and the West. And as we move on, in the next slide, we show the Global Civilizational Initiative that China initiated, advocating cultural mutual respect and mutual learning, promote civilization, prosperity, and progress. As we mentioned, the Global Civilization Initiative of China, making the sincere call for the world to enhance inter-civilization exchanges and dialogue, promote human progress with inclusiveness and mutual learning, inspiring the building of a global community on shared futures. Unquote. And turning to the Philippines, we show one of the challenges of Filipinos and its culture, quoting Dr. Jose Rizal in a letter to Filipinos in the diaspora. We are a nation of people with no unified cultural identity outside the colonized one. And so we seek with this event today to enhance the Filipino cultural identity by reminding everyone here in the country and in ASEAN and Asia that the Philippines has also several cultural practices that have been set by UNESCO and given recognition. So we recall the Philippines' national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, lament over the colonial culture of the country. And in this occasion of celebration of Asian cultural heritage, we recall the Filipino cultural heritage given recognition by the UNESCO in legacies of the Filipinos to the totality of human culture and civilization. And some of these are the following: Karangin epic of the Maranao people of Lake Lanao. I think the slide are there. Thanksgiving rituals medyo disordered dito sa aking tablet, so I will read the screen. The Karangin epic of the Maranao people of Lake Lanao was inscribed in 2008 on the representative list intangible cultural heritage of humanity of UNESCO. This is not in order of chronology, just citing the different recognized cultural practices. The next one, can we show it here? The Hudhud chants of the Ifugao. The Hudhud consists of narrative chants traditionally performed by the Ifugao community, which is well known for its rice heritage, extending over the highlands of the northern islands of the Philippine archipelago. It is practiced during the rice sowing season, at harvest time, and at funeral wakes and rituals. Next tradition, the Aklan Pinya weaving, inscribed in 2023 on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Pinya is a textile made from pineapple leaf fiber and woven using a hand loom. Farmers harvest the leaves of the Pinya Visayas, a specific pineapple species, and extract the fibers by hand. Fibers are weighed using the local unit of measurement and method involving all coins of different denominations. The knowledge and skills of Pinya hand loom weaving are primarily passed on within the family. Next item, the School of Living Tradition selected in 2021 on the Register of Good Safeguarding Practices. In 1995, the Sub-Commission on Cultural Community and Traditional Arts of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, NCPA, The lead agency mandated to preserve, promote, and develop Philippine culture and the arts, affirmed the need to safeguard traditional knowledge and practices from rapid cultural devaluation brought about by media, tourism, formal education, and religion. This paved the way for the creation of the School of Living Traditions as a program involving informal community-managed learning centers where practitioners can transmit their community's knowledge, intangible cultural heritage, skills, and values to younger generations. And next, meron pa ba? Yan. The special celebration of the Tuguin rituals and games 5 years after the inscription of the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage. UNESCO wishes to join the people of Cambodia, the Philippines, the Republic of Korea, and Vietnam. But I highlighted, of course, the Philippines were included there in celebrating the 5th anniversary of the inscription of Tuguin rituals and games being listed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage since last December 2 of 2015. Meron pa ba? Okay. So, Philippines and ASEAN cultural traditions and practices and rituals are also inspired by the UNESCO cultural heritage descriptions, and we take this opportunity along with the final listing of the Spring Festival to celebrate Asian cultural heritage, intangible cultural heritage of the global community at present. So we will be open to discussion and questions later on after the presentation of our two other speakers. I think we're ready for the second speaker. This is June. Can we show the interview? Good morning. Yeah, okay. Our next speaker is, of course, Dr. Cynthia Dema. He's an associate professor at the School of Communication and Design, Trinidad University. He's also currently the Chinese director of the Institute of the University. He finished her master's in Soviet Sen University at University. She also had the privilege of being explored the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States of America and at the City University of Florida. Let's welcome Dr. Cynthia for opening. Next, hello, can you hear us, Dr. Dem? Nakamute pa si Cynthia? Yeah, she's still muted. Can you signal ears? There, okay. Okay. Good morning, Madam Cynthia Leon. Dr. Cynthia Leon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. Good morning, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Now I would like to share my computer now. Can you hear? Can you see?
Loud and clear. Yes.
Okay. So good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me to join this very meaningful speech and very interesting topic TV show. And it's happening today. It's a little spring festival today. That is the lunar December 24th, or almost 1 week before the new year. So firstly, I would like to introduce something about why we have the Spring Festival. The Spring Festival is the traditional festival in China with the deepest connotation, the richest content, the largest number of participants, and the widest influence. Before and after the Spring Festival, Chinese people around the world celebrate this festival around the themes of bidding farewell to the old and welcome the new, praying for blessing and good fortune, and reunion and harmony, especially for reunion of a family. For thousands of years, the Spring Festival has continuously maintained and strengthened the emotional bonds between the individuals, families, and the country, playing a very important role in the community of Chinese. With the increasing expanding of overseas Chinese, the Spring Festival has become a widely accepted, recognized, and appreciated symbol and ceremony of Chinese culture worldwide. Sorry. And today it's lunar calendar December 24th. Normally we say it's Little New Year, 1 week before the New Year. And today in China, no matter in the south or in the north, we would like to start the new year actually. This is the fourth on the 23rd on the south or 24th of the north. And is seen as a prologue to the forthcoming Spring Festival. We also have a story, a long story and history for Little New Year. The history of the Little New Year dates back to ancient activities, traditionally dedicated to worship of the kitchen god. And in the center, we see this is the kitchen god, expressing gratitude for a year of protection. On the Little New Year today, usually a week before the Lunar New Year, and we say Filipino has the longest Christmas season in the world. And I would like to say in China, we have the longest New Year season because starting from today until lunar calendar January 15, that is almost 3 weeks. So we have the totally 3 weeks for celebration of the New Year. Although the festival started more than 4,000 years ago, the Chinese have inherited the ancient legacy and fittingly adapted to suit the modern times. The annual festival is usually marked by harmonying gods and ancestors, family reunions, and praying for happiness and luck in the coming year. And in July 2022, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism of China began to promote the application for World Heritage status during the Spring Festival. On March 31st, 2023, the Chinese government submits application materials to Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of UNESCO. In December of the same year, the 8th United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution to designate the Spring Festival, that is also we call Lunar New Year, as a United Nations holiday. The application for World Heritage status during the Spring Festival in December 2024 was successful, and the entire process took more than 2 years. From being designated as a United Nations holiday to successfully applying for World Heritage status, it is sufficient to promote the continuous improvements of a global influence of Spring Festival culture, which is an important channel for telling the story of traditional Chinese culture. According to incomplete statistics, nearly 20 countries and regions have designated to the Spring Festival as a status holiday. And Spring Festival folk activities have entered nearly 200 countries and regions, becoming a global cultural event. And later on, I will show some of the events and pictures or videos in different countries that was shown by me, myself, or some of my overseas students. Amidst the sounds of firecrackers, we call why we celebrate the New Year Nian. In Chinese, we call the New Year as Nian. That is a monster. And almost all the Chinese know on the eve of the New Year, amidst the sounds of firecrackers, the year has passed and the spring breeze brings warmth into slaughter of Su, and almost as the most solemn and lively festival of Chinese people and a symbol of reunion of hope, the Spring Festival has an incomparable important position in the hearts of the Chinese people. It is based on the Chinese people's understanding of nature and society in the long agriculture and production of life, carrying the rich customers, rituals, skills, and knowledge contained in Chinese culture and expressing the Chinese people's pursuit of a better life. This heritage project not only helps to enhance individual moral cultivation, promote family harmony, and also harmony between humans and nature and between humans and society, but also provides an inexhaustible driving force for the recognition of the Chinese national community and cultural creativity. And right now, I would like to show you some cultural festival events from today on. And today is the Little New Year. Normally, we eat, especially some sugar. That is means stick the teeth and stick the mouth of the kitchen god, so that the kitchen god won't say anything bad to our Jade Emperor. And tomorrow will be December 25th. Today, we would eat tofu because we believe after the kitchen god go to the heaven to see our Jade Emperor, he will tell the Jade Emperor, we actually live a very humbly daily life, so that the Jade Emperor will give us some fortune and luck. And December 26th, from today on, people start to buy some meat. And on 27th, people especially buy some chicken and stock at home, because we Chinese believe chicken and fish we have to eat, and we cannot eat completely and have to stay it until next year. That means after the New Year Eve and also after the New Year's Day. And on 28th, we have to clean our house and also stick our 福字, the good luck red paper on our gates, and also stick all kinds of flowers and those colorful things at our house. December 29, we start to prepare all kinds of foods, because since December 29, the reunion of the family will be start. So everyone will just gather together and eat together. And the New Year Eve will be the most important day of the new year, Lunar New Year. And we can see from the picture, people use fireworks, and also we turn on all our lights, no matter inside our house or inside the whole town or the streets, so that with the sounds of the fireworks, the monster Nian will be frightened and go away. And with these sounds and the lights, the old gone and new coming. Then we celebrate and welcome our January 1st, New Year's Day, or we say the Grand Nian. On this day, people greetings to everyone. And normally we stay just at our own home, and sometimes after gathering together after lunch, we also walk around that will to say we are prepared to welcome the new luck. And coming for the January 2nd, lunar January 2nd, this is a festival day for especially new couple. The wives, together with her new husband, normally they go home for the parents from the new wife house, and greetings for everyone. And January 3rd, the husband and wife also stay at the parents' house and eat together. January 4th, we welcome back for the kitchen gods again, because in old traditional China, the chicken god is one of the most important gods for our daily life. So we can see we have also some ceremonies for welcome the kitchen god. And January 5th is also one of the most important day for Chinese, because on this day, we prepare to welcome our wealth god. So we can see this is our traditional golden money. We call it yuanbao. It is wealth. So today we have the wealth god together with us. And even after January 5th until January 15th, we celebrate every day until celebrate 13. On celebrate 13, we light on all our lights. That is not only the normal lights. Some of the lights are huge. We call it lantern. And also it's not only the small red lantern, but also very huge and all kind of shapes. And 14 and 15, people will go to the streets and watch and sharing the lights, lanterns, and greetings to everybody. So since today until Lunar year, January 15, we celebrate every day, totally 3 weeks. And just after January 15, we say we finished the new year already. So we can say this is the almost the most longest celebration for New Year. This is in China. And right now, I would like to share some of the new celebrations right now in China. We can see now in China, some cities, even the young people, they still use the lion dance. And this is some pictures we shoot last night, because in Guangzhou, one of the districts of Guangzhou City, that is the great global global bay, we call it Macau, Hong Kong, Guangdong, Great Bay, in Nansha. And we have the very grand Lantern Festival started since yesterday. So we can see some of the lanterns are really huge, and thousands thousand people started to visit the festival since last night already. This is the Wukong, and this is some traditional young lady in China. And in China, because of the reunion of a family, no matter people are normally working in which part of the country, we have to go back to our hometown. So this is the word we call it 春运. That means Spring Festival transportation. How comes? These are some pictures for the Spring Festival transportation, like the airport and also railway stations. It's thousands of people gathering together, no matter how far, but they have to go back to home to celebrate the new year. And also, this is some part of the Chinese New Year already. And in recent years, recent 40 years, another kind of special celebration in Chinese New Year is we have the Spring Festival Grand Gala. Each year, I can say almost all the Chinese, no matter inside China, mainland, or overseas Chinese in different countries, on the New Year's Eve, we almost share the same thing, that is the Spring Festival Grand Gala showed by our CCTV. And with the celebration of the New Year's Gala, shared by more and more people, some of the different cities and even some social media, they started their own New Year Gala. This is the picture from TikTok. The TikTok also have their own New Year's Gala. So not only Chinese people inside China celebrate the New Year, overseas Chinese also celebrate the Chinese New Year every day. Like just now, we also heard speakers, the former speakers mentioned. And now I would like to share some of the different celebration events myself personally experienced. These are some pictures we celebrate the Chinese New Year in the Philippines. This is a Spring Festival, especially our Chinese paint exhibits and also Chinese Film Festival every year in Shangri-La Mall. And these three pictures are shown by 2020. This is me. And also he is David from the film development departments of the Philippines. And also, during the past several years, the Confucius Institute at Ateneo de Manila University also explore some new celebrate events. For example, we have some TV show series in 2022, and we showed in different TV station channels. This is one of the TV channel studio. And we also showed on some different social media, for example, in Facebook and YouTube. These are some pictures in China, Beijing. After the listing in UNESCO Cultural Heritage, the last December, right now in Beijing, the World Studio, Universal Studio in Beijing, they celebrate the New Year's in different kinds and invite different film stars from different countries. So we can see some like cartoon persons or film stars from the America, from different countries. And back to the Philippines, in 2020, we also have another TV program shown in PTV4. We show how Chinese calligraphy normally we use during the Spring Festival. And in 2019, we celebrate our Spring Festival in Davao. and also in Manila. These are some pictures in Davao. And during that time, at the ceremony, we also show our film, Sulu and China. And we have the festival ceremony before the film showing. And the current Vice President of the Philippines, Madame Sara Duterte, at that time she was the mayor of Davao City. She joined our celebration and gave a keynote speech. This is some celebration events in 2018 in BGC High Street. We have some lion dance. We also have some traditional instruments playing and some other different types of showings. And these are celebrations in 2017. I have to especially mention that we have annually celebration for Filipino Chinese Traditional Cultural Festival. Normally, this traditional cultural festival happens during lunar January 15, around that day. And this picture are showed in Rizal Park 2017. We invited some Chinese folks players, some Chinese stars from China to give some traditional plays, traditional shows and games in Rizal Park. And this is the picture in 2017, China Park, inside Rizal Park. Especially, I would like to mention, since 2019, 2018, and 2020, in those 3 years, during the celebration in Filipino Chinese Traditional Culture Festival, we held in Rizal Park, the former President Duterte sent our messages for 3 years. And he especially mentioned about the Chinese community in the Philippines contribution, and together with the Filipino, we celebrate together and also contribute another new different definition and new different types of festival content and festival events in the Philippines. And now I would like to show you some of the celebrations in different countries. Just like I mentioned just now, almost 2,000 people, 2,000 countries, people celebrate the New Year's also. And this is the celebration in Korea, South Korea. Oh, actually, it's a video. It's a video, but it seems like yeah, this is just very fresh, newly recorded last night by my Korean students yesterday in Seoul. So this is how the Korean people celebrate Spring Festival. These are some pictures yesterday in Seoul also. Here, I would like to share with you the people in Vietnam, their celebration for the Chinese New Year. We can see in some schools and also malls, the people from Vietnam, they also write lucky Phu and also some other Vietnam letters and Chinese letters. Yeah, you can see here. These events happened in some Vietnam high school and also shown by my Vietnam students. This is a young lady. She's a Vietnam young lady, and he requested some Chinese calligraphy and also Vietnam letters written by the brushes. She's very happy, you can see. And these pictures are shown in streets of Vietnam. We can say very similar to Chinatown in Manila. These are some pictures showing how the young people, young generation in Vietnam, they're wearing different costumes of different dynasty of Vietnam to celebrate the New Year, Lunar New Year. And this is the picture just shooted on the streets of Vietnam. This picture is shown in Brazil. People made the mask and use the masks they made by themselves to celebrate the Spring Festival. Just last year, 2024. So, especially after last December 24th, we can say the Chinese New Year is not only a new year of Chinese. It is an intangible cultural heritage and is a very important component of a Chinese traditional culture and a vivid witness to the continuous inheritance of Chinese people. In recent years, China's systematic protection of intangible cultural heritage has received high praise from UNESCO. On December the 2nd, 2024, China was once again successfully elected as a member of the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage of UNESCO. At the new starting points of the successful application for World Heritage during the Spring Festival, China's intangible cultural heritage work will continue to uphold the concept of equal emphasis on inheritance and innovation, work together with the countries around the world to safeguard the shared spiritual wealth of humanity, make intangible cultural heritage a solid link connection different people from different countries, and enhance friendship among countries, and contribute more cultural strength to build a community with a shared future of mankind. And of course, for Filipino, we say the Spring Festival is not only a festival or a heritage culture for Chinese, but together contributes and together innovated by Filipino and Chinese here. So once again, Happy New Year. 恭喜發財. Thank you.
Okay, Pastor, thank you, Dr. Gap. We'll try to get to some of the questions for you. Send to us via Zoom and Facebook a bit later. Our next speaker is.
In the meantime, just take a break to show you some of the events in the Philippines going on right now with regard to the Spring Festival. If you can look at GTN broadcast, Vibrant, that shows some of the latest news reports about the Spring Festival in Binondo, in Baguio City. Can you project it in just a few seconds, Professor? Okay, let's show some of the headlines here. Bacolod, Baguio. Let me see, okay. Baguio launches 2025 Spring Festival, Manila Standard. This is just, let us take a look at the others. There are nine, I think, let me just check, travel in China will, Chinese Spring Festival travel rush begins with record 9 billion trips that is expected. I don't, do you see that from the fiber that I sent? Then there's the Spring Festival, Chinese New Year in the Philippines, yes. And then there's the Spring Festival, Film Festival, Spring Film Festival in Shangri-La Plaza. Uh, the 19th edition of the film festival will run from January 29 to February 2 at the Shangri-La Plaza. I don't know if you see that headline, that report from Business World, January 21, 2025 report. Anyway, just to highlight the ongoing activities within the country in relation to the 2025 Spring Festival. The Spring Film Festival, can you see it? Film Festival. Yeah, Chinese forms of expression of the 19th Spring Festival that will be held at Shangri-La Plaza Mall in Mandaluyong City, January 29 to February 20 to February 2nd. So, Madam Cynthia, if you can hold on until our question and answer later on. Danny, let's now go to the prolific author of 7, am I correct, or 9 books? 9 books.
18.
18 na ba?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us welcome Dr. Joaquin C., who is the co-author of now 18 books in Tagalog and English on purpose subjects regarding Chinese and Philippine culture. Let us welcome Dr. C. for his remarks.
Anyway, thank you, Mr. Laurel, for inviting me to this interesting forum. First, I would like to tell everybody Hao. The Hao is a very common Chinese greeting, which literally means everybody good. The Chinese are very, very optimistic. When they meet the president, they say Ni Hao, which means you are good. They don't ask, how are you? Kumusta ka? They assume right away that the other person, the people are good. And that's a sign of Chinese optimism. Also on Chinese greetings, when they greet each other in the morning, they say Tao An, literally peaceful morning. Whereas the Americans say good morning. The emphasis on the quality of food. And Filipinos say magandang umaga, or beautiful morning. But the Chinese say someone in the morning. And at night they say one peaceful night. That aside from being optimistic, the Chinese really are very peaceful people, as mentioned by Mr. Laurel. I was not able to prepare a formal presentation because when I received the invitation, I was to go to Taiwan. So I was in Taiwan for the last week, and I felt the festive atmosphere in on how the Taiwanese celebrate New Year, Chinese New Year, which I think applies also to the other parts of China. No? If you go to Taiwan now, even before Chinese New Year, 1 week before Chinese New Year, all the restaurants are full because before celebrating the Advent, the start of the Chinese New Year, the Taiwanese celebrate the end of the old year. They call it the Shui Mo, the end of the old year. And they celebrate the New Year for another week. And like Dr. Liang mentioned, the celebration of the Chinese New Year is quite long. It ends on the 15th day of the first day of the year. And the 15th day, they call it Lantern Festival. Lantern Festival. And, so that's really the end of the Chinese New Year. Mr. Laurel mentioned ago, there are discussions on what the day should be called. Some call it Chinese New Year. Some call it Lunar New Year. People say that's not exclusive to the Chinese because other nationalities like the Vietnamese, the Koreans, the Japanese, they have their own version of Lunar New Year. So let's call it the Lunar New Year. Let's not call it the Chinese New Year. But you will be surprised to know that even the Chinese do not call Chinese New Year Chinese New Year. They call Chinese New Year the Spring Festival. Diba? That's also the term that the UNESCO used. They say Spring Festival. In Chinese, it's Funjie. Also, literally, Spring Festival, or in Filipino, you can say Isla ng Tagsibol. And that is very significant, because when does the Chinese New Year fall? It falls on the time when winter is more severe. If you look at the Chinese calendar, the period called Tahan, meaning big winter, big fall, started January 20 in the Gregorian calendar. So that was 4 days ago. And the Chinese New Year is on the 29th of January. So it means the Chinese actually celebrate Chinese New Year or Spring Festival during the most severe winter. Pinakamaginaw sa around Chinese New Year when the snow in Siberia melts and spring officially starts 2 months from now, March 20. So I had 2 months ahead before spring even arrives. The Chinese celebrate the Spring Festival. That's also another sign of optimism. They look at the good side of things. They don't worry about the cold winter. Instead, they look at the arrival of spring, which is 2 months away. Okay. I remember when I was growing up in northern Philippines, we called Chinese New Year Pasko ng Inching. I don't know how it started, but we call it Pasko ng Inching, and meaning Chinese Christmas. And we associate it with Tikoy. So alam namin pag may Tikoy na Pasko ng Inching na yan. Like I said, I don't know how it started. And I remember my mother preparing some people to be given away to the neighbors, but only to those who are friendly to us. Those who didn't call us Inching. It's really ironic. We celebrate Pasko ng Inching, but we didn't want to be called Inching. Because Inching is really pejorative. So now we still hear the term Inching among Filipinos. Some use it without any pejorative meaning. It's a neutral term. But now some use it pejorative, especially if they're mother few, they call it. Now we have the term Chinoy. Chinoy meaning I actually belong to the group that coined the term Kaisa para Kahundaran. And we coined it in 1992 to celebrate our 5th anniversary. We were organized 1987 to advocate for the local Chinese to be more integrated in the Philippine society so that they could participate more meaningfully in national development. We were thinking, if we don't want to be called Inching, so what do we want us to be called? We cannot be called Chino also. We cannot be called Chinese because we are not from China. We are not Chinese citizens. So somebody suggested, why not Chino Filipino? Since Filipinos are called Pinoy, we can say Chino Filipino. And from Chino Filipino, it became Chinoy. Chinoy as PSI. But later on, some people, especially our friends in the media, use the variant CSI. So technically, that's how we wanted to be told to stress our own identity as Filipinos of Chinese descent. Mga Pilipino ng ibang Chino. So if we say Chinese Filipino, there's no hyphen. Because Chinese is supposed to be the adjective and Filipino is supposed to be the noun to describe the kind of Filipinos that we are. Okay. I think in some Southeast Asian countries, if we look at the other Southeast Asian countries, Chinese New Year or Spring Festival is special, is an official holiday. It's an official holiday. And Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. And this year, starting this year, Myanmar also announced it as a official holiday. In the Philippines, we celebrate it as a special non-working holiday, which means it has to be declared yearly. It needs a presidential declaration to be enforced as a special non-working holiday. And that is largely because of the efforts of the late Senator Angara. And Angara in 2013, January, filed the bill. I think he tried to call for making a Chinese New Year festival an official holiday in the Philippines. But on the third and final reading, the Senate only declared it as a special non-working holiday. And so, but I say it's good enough. I think it's good enough that we have a Spring Festival as a special non-working holiday in the Philippines, because whatever it is, what kind of holiday it is, Filipinos celebrate it. As Mr. Laurel mentioned, many celebrations in the major cities in Baguio, in Pao, for a sizable number of Chinese Filipinos. In Bacolod, they have very big one. This they call the Bacolod, combining the name of the city Bacolod and the Hokkien term Laodien, which means to celebrate Bacolod. But as a Chinoy, I personally think, or many of my Chinoy friends also think, that the Spring Festival should really be considered an official holiday in the Philippines for several reasons. First, if we look at Philippine history, we see the very significant role played by the local ethnic Chinese. Let's call them ethnic Chinese in the Philippines, because they were not Filipino citizens yet during the time, and also Chinong Filipinos. They're really Chinese in the Philippines. Starting from the revolution against Spain, the Reform movement, we know for a fact that the Filipino strata class that was formed at the end of the 19th century was basically the Chinese mestizo class. Alam natin yan, Trece Martires, even Oserisa, Emilia Aguinaldo, and many other local Chinese, ethnic Chinese participated in the struggle for freedom. And we know about Romanong Pin. Romanong Pin was a pure-blooded Chinese, but he financed the revolution during that time. And during the war of resistance against the Japanese, there were many local Chinese who joined the guerrilla movement. There were eight local Chinese guerrilla groups. Four were the time the civil war in China was still ongoing, the nationalists versus the communists. So the eight guerrilla groups in the Philippines, four were pro-communist and four were pro-Kuomintang, pro-nationalist. And of course, the most prominent was what we call Huachi.
But they were all anti-Japanese.
Because in China, even in China, the communists, the nationalists had a truce. The truce. They say, let's not fight each other. Let's fight the Japanese first. So it's in the Philippines. Both the Chinese who were pro-China, pro-communist, and pro-nationalist, all fought the Japanese. So that's one. So we can say that because when we talk about the local Chinese, we always emphasize the contribution in the economic development. Even Angara, when he filed the bill, the reasons he cited were early relations between the Philippines and China, even before the Spaniards arrived. And then he said the Chinese contribution in Philippine national economic development. And so also the Chinese is quite big. Does that refer to the Chinese from China, or does it refer to the local Chinese? But the third reason again, getting clear, he said, I pointed out that China is the third biggest trading partner of the Philippines. No, he was probably referring to the Chinese from China. But like I said, we emphasize the role of the local Chinese, the Chinese Filipinos, in Philippine history, Philippine culture. So we can thankfully say that the local Chinese made contributions not only in the economic development, but in the formation of the Filipino nation. Sa mismong pagbubuo ng Filipino nation, ng bansang Pilipina, hindi lang economic. Economic is really not that important compared to the formation of the Filipino nation. So that's the historical reason. The second reason would be cultural. There was this very famous Filipino anthropologist and language expert, Dr. Arsenio Manuel. In 1950s, he made a study on the influence of Chinese in the Filipino language. Influence of Chinese in the Filipino language. And he listed down 200 words. 200 words, Filipino words, Tagalog words that originated from Chinese. And when we say Chinese, we refer to the Hokkien language. Because many of the Chinese in the Philippines were from Fujian, from Hokkien. So they spoke Hokkien. And eventually the language, Hokkien language, influenced the local people. So he listed down 200 terms, 200 words, Filipino words from Chinese. And you will be surprised. One of the words he listed down, I was surprised, it was paslang. He said that paslang originated from Chinese, and I was surprised how because there's no Chinese word paslang. It turns out when we say paslang, it's very specific. It's to kill a person. Diba? It's different from patay. Anyway, hindi sa patay is my God. Sa patay ng tao, patay ng manok, patay ng ilaw. But paslang is specific. You kill a person. And he claims. But we have to point out that Manuel, that's Hokkien. He relied heavily on his Chinese friends. And he said, no, paslang born from us. It's actually a phrase. And he pumunta ng tao, sila. So, it's questionable. Because I somehow feel that many of these Chinese friends wanted more words. Anyway, so he listed down 200 words, and many of those refer to food. Diba? Food. In terms, alam natin yung Tagalog words na kuya, ate, Lindsay, Sanchez, those were all from Hokkien. And but yung Taklao is supposed to be malalim na Tagalog, but it's from Hokkien. Originally meant the lighthouse, so Ting Lao. So because Tang Lao, when you say Tang Lao, the light can only come from diba? So if they both from Ting Lao, the term for lighthouse.
Ting is lamp.
Light or Ting Lao, lighthouse. Even Ting Hoi. Diba sa Tagalog word Ting Hoi? If it falls from Ting He, yung machinisindihan natin na Ting Hoi. Pero parang lang pala. No? So, he listed out 200 words. And of course, many of those words refer to food. Okay, I think that's one of the most significant cultural influence to Filipinos food. Alam mo yung hopya, siomai, siopaw, pumba, and many other words, tikoy, ganyan. And one of the most popular Filipino terms from Chinese was pancit. Pancit and lumpiang Shanghai. If you look at social media, when people post about celebration, whether it's birthday party or graduation, ano yung pinakakarami ko kanda? Pancit and lumpiang Shanghai. Diba? So you don't even consider those Chinese food anymore. those has become Filipino food. Di ba? Filipino food yan. I actually saw a post of some Filipinos in Canada. I don't know, there's some party or fundraising, and they advertised Siopao as a Filipino buns, Filipino steam buns. That's Siopao. You know? It became so Filipino that, you know, it's no longer considered Chinese food. So, and if whether we call the Chinese New Year or Spring Festival like official holiday or special holiday, it is a part that Filipinos celebrate. If you go to Binondo, you will see that most people there are not even Chinois, not even Chinese, they're mostly not Chinois. Go there to eat Chinese food, good trip on Chinese food, to buy so-called lucky symbols, ganyan. So, those are the reasons. So, I will feel very, very strongly the Chinese Filipinos, I mean, a cultural, they should be considered a cultural minority of the Philippines. Just like the Muslims. The Muslims are a cultural minority of the Philippines. And if you look at the list of official holidays in the Philippines, how many are Muslim holidays? Dalawa. There are two. The Eid al-Fitr and the Eid al-Adha. There are two Muslim holidays in the list of official holidays. So I guess that is about this one. Considering the let's not say contribution, let's just say role of participation, in nation building, in the formation of the Filipino nation, in Philippine everyday life. So we feel spring festivals should not only be a special and working holiday, but should be in the list of official holiday. And regardless, because yung approach ni Senator Angara, political, and it is subject to the very, very, very volatile against China relation. When the old Angara filed bill that was 2013, maraming political issues. And the son, Sani Angara, filed a similar bill in 2023. Halos kinopya niya yung bill ng yung panahon ni, but this one, the one filed by the junior, the son, was not even discussed in the Senate. Probably people were more interested in Alice or so again, we reiterate that we feel that spring festival should now be considered a official holiday in the Philippines, and maybe someday when the atmosphere is better, maybe we can follow the footsteps of Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Myanmar, and make spring festival and official holiday, and just like that, it's our economic development that China will find, and it will be good for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. C, for that very enlightening discussion on Filipino-Chinese history and spring festival. Okay, now we'll try to get to some of your questions. We have
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm just curious, what is the
Before we go on, can I read the question that we put on the down Dr. Cynthia Liang on the screen? She is, sorry.
Thank you from listening that and visits and Sunday visits. I just want to ask what is this kaisa para sa kaudan? You're the past president?
Yeah. The ninth president. We formed a group in 1987. It's a group, it's a Chinoy NGO, it's an NGO of China, Filipino, and like I mentioned a while ago, the objective is to serve as catalysts to accelerate the integration of the local Chinese into mainstream Philippine society, so that they could participate more actively, more meaningfully in Philippine national development. And the first president was Deng Xiaoping, of course, you know her. And what we tried to do, because we were a group of young people, or young professionals, young entrepreneurs, we tried to do quote unquote propaganda. Propaganda. We had two publications, one in Chinese, one in Filipino and English, which we call Tulay. The one in Chinese we call Ronghe, which means integration. So when we talk to the Chinese community, we promote Philippine history, Philippine culture. And when we talk to the mainstream, we promote Chinese culture, Chinese history, ganyan. And I think we were quite successful. And we were actually in the forefront of the Chinoy community's fight against kidnapping. From 1990 to 1996, kidnapping was 1992 to 1998. During the time of President Ramos, kidnapping was quite rampant. So we were forced to refocus our efforts towards leading the community in fighting kidnapping. And because we did that, which is something the other bigger organizations can do, we also gain the respect of the community. So we try to harness the resources of the Chinoy community to do projects that will benefit the mainstream. Like we were quite active in supporting Tony Mendoza's Gawad Galing. We build houses from Luzon to Mindanao. The last Gawad Galing village built was in Mati and Cateo in the hotel Norte. And also we were quite active in relief operations. We had a project called Bangka Buhayan. We distributed the boats to victims of Typhoon Yolanda. And we have a project with the Philippine General Hospital, we call Anak in China, and we make our members go there. Yun ang initiation nila, they go to the PGS to distribute medicines to the patient. And so that's it.
What are the challenges that we have done to both the years?
Yeah. Well, when we started 1987, there were a lot of misconception about us in the Chinoy community, in the Chinese community, because whether we accept it or not, the Chinese community is quite conservative, especially the older ones. So when we started, they were saying, "Sino ba tumulong for these people? And what are they trying to advocate?" They're trying us they're telling us to be Filipinos, but we're Chinese. But like I said, because of our role of efforts in fighting kidnapping, they eventually accepted us. So that's when we did a fundraising to build a Chinoy Museum, the one in Intramuros, the Kaisa Angelo Heritage Center. When we launched a fundraising to build that, we actually generated the biggest fundraising ever for the Chinese Filipino community. So we built that big structure there. And
you have one statement because there's a lot of recognition between Filipinos and
yeah.
So, what will be your message to the past president of Pakistan?
Well, we always say, actually started the slogan, we say, ang mga Chinoy Pinoy din, mga Chinoy Pinoy din, that the Chinese Filipinos will be accepted as Filipinos. Because until now, if you are a Sikh and you have an argument with somebody in Facebook, umuwi ka na sa China. Diba? Umuwi ka na sa China. So, Paubos na kami, wala naman nagawa. But they actually define being Filipino as having long surnames. And I always say, of all the foreigners who came to the Philippine island, the Spaniards came in bankruptcy. Americans came in Martin also, even the Japanese. When the Chinese came in Sampan, they came here to trade. They came here to trade, and as I emphasize, the Chinese put a lot of emphasis on peace. Diba? Yung mga nangyayari sa South China Sea or West Philippine Sea, whatever we call it, those are just irritants. Irritants na hindi naman exclusive sa Philippines and China. Diba? They had that problem also with Vietnam, with Malaysia, with Vietnam, with Singapore, whatever. So, yun ang mga bagay na we should not be, I hate to say this, but I have to be very frank. Many Filipinos equate Filipino nationalism with being able to shout atin ang West Philippine Sea. But that's so easy to do. Anybody can do that. Diba? Iba yung tumulong ka talaga sa nation building. Those are irritants. That's a good way. They can set us aside para saka natin pag-usapan. Let's talk about cooperation.
Dahil pinapatagin. Okay. Well, let's check if there are questions for Dr. Cynthia Liang on the Zoom audience.
Your questions, like on Facebook and YouTube.
Maybe you can read some of the comments and questions if there are any. Yes, there are none. Yes. This is from the YouTube. Walang question. Yeah, there's a question here from PDB4, no?
Yeah, Manalo, I'm reporter for PDB4. My question is, for everyone, anyone, what do you think that, is it the Chinese culture and heritage nowadays, some Philippines, or do they are still alive, despite of issues between the Philippines and China, especially those activities?
Yeah, I think that if you are asking if Spanish culture is still alive. No, like I said, if there's one aspect that the Chinese influence is very apparent, it's in the culture. Pag nag-celebrate ng Chinese New Year, karamihan ng nasa Pinondo are not Chinois, they are mainstream Filipinos, di ba? And every Saturday or holiday, we go to Pinondo to see long lines sa mga popular na nagpupunti. Also, Filipinos, So, buhay na buhay yung kulturang Chino sa mga Pilipino, despite the issues. Medyo lang kasi yan. I think yung understanding natin sa mga issues sa West Philippines medyo mababaw. And culture is not affected. It's very much alive. Not only among the Chinese Filipinos, but among many Filipinos, especially those who have friends. So, okay, wala hindi naman naapektuhan ng political issues yung culture. Because the cultural influences are so malalim na malalim na pagkakaugatan po ng Pilipinas.
Going back to Spring Festival, what does Spring Festival symbolize?
And like I said, the Spring Festival, they celebrated during the height of winter. Diba? Kung kailan yung pinaka-maginaw, naginaw pa, winter pa. But they celebrate the Spring Festival in advance. And that's kind of optimism. They not look at the, they look at the, malapit na dumating yung nag-symbol. No? So they celebrate Spring Festival kind of time. That's something that the whole of humanity can learn from the Chinese and being optimistic.
May idadagdag ako po sa Chinese culture in the Philippines and actually in the world. And ang gusto kong banggit ay itong recent controversy over TikTok sa Estados Unidos. Kita natin, nilampasan po ng people-to-people relationship yung geopolitical issues. No? Kasi nung binang for a while, kasi in-extend na ni President Trump yung operation ng TikTok sa Amerika. Nung panahon na wala pang isang araw after ng araw na suspended, lumipat ang maraming Amerikano to red snow, no? Or red book na sites. Nagkaroon ng direktang diskusyon ang mga Amerikano at ang mga Chino at na-discover nila pare-pareho lang pala ang dalawang lahi at mga economic issues ang importante. Natuwa ang mga Amerikano na ganyan pala ang buhay sa normal lang at hindi yung evil empire and so on. And ganyan din po sa Pilipinas, sa China. I think we are, of course, we have long discovered this. Nabanggit na yung mga Chino na Pilipino sa ating design, si Jose Rizal, si Presidente Duterte, sinabi, may Chinese na lahi siya. So, ang mamagitan lang po sa normal na ugnayan ng Chinese culture, Filipino culture, ay yung politika ng mundo. Talagang dinigil po ng ilang panig sa mundo natin na tensyon ng maghari sa mga relasyon ng mga bansa. But as I said during my introduction to the discussion today, Asian culture, pati yung atin, seek harmony. That we are really essentially more peaceful in our civilizational approach and culture. And I think this opportunity today and this thing of the spring festival of the as a humanities intangible cultural heritage, importante po, no? Dahil we have been really under 500 years of Western culture imposed on many third world countries, and we're now getting out of it. Again, siguro marking the end phase of the Western domination of global culture is the book of Huntington, Classic Civilization, na ini-introduce naman ng Asian yung dialogue of civilization. Ang mga civilization ay complementary. We are now trying to build the human civilization together. And yung slogan na para sa Asian century, a forever peace and prosperity. So I think I would consider our discussion today as part of the struggle to bring about 500 years of peace and prosperity for humanity in the world. Hindi natin inaaway ang kalimutan. Tapos na yan. Aminado na ang adjust siya mag-adjust sa bagong sitwasyon ng mundo. Ngayon, sinasabi niya, Bini. Ang gusto niyang puntahan, hindi na po yung babalik sa Asia at dominate ng Asia. Of course, mahaba pa po ang proseso sa loob ng Amerika at kanluran ng kanilang awakening sa bagong kinabukasan ng sangkatauhan ng awakenings. And that's why we are normally the 18th century Philippines Strategic Studies Institute nakapokus sa geopolitics, but we are thankful for this opportunity to look at the culture and civilizational aspect of human existence and the civilizational goals of humanity. I don't know if that to the rich discussion I think we got from Dr. Cynthia Diaz and from the author and writer and director Hawkins. Very, very rich discussion.
That's cool. I forgot to mention because it's part of culture. There are now more and more Filipinos learning Chinese. I don't know if we are aware of that. No? And that's because of the Confucius Institutes, because of the emergence of China as a dominant economic power. More and more Filipinos are enrolling for Confucius Institutes to learn the language. And these Confucius Institutes, they also give scholarships to Filipinos who are trained, they have a major in as teachers in teaching Chinese and in English. Many of them, after graduating from the course, they speak very fluent Filipino. Also, since a few years ago, I think 2016, because of the effort of one of the Chinese directors of the Confucius Institute they were able to convince them to teach Mandarin Chinese as one of the foreign languages offered in the high schools, senior high schools, and there are about 100 public high schools teaching Mandarin, and I was fortunate to have been involved in doing the textbook in Chinese and Filipino. That's 100, Philippine public high school. Marami so, paano without even noticing, lumalapit talaga yung ugnayan.
Also, I want to take this opportunity to take your side about the alleged science spy who was arrested recently. What's your side about it?
I think malinaw na po after just a few hours after it was introduced into the headlines by the NBI na itong mga equipment daw na sinasabi ng NBI spy equipment, ordinaryong mga equipment that you can get at Rahwan or Mega Mall computer shops and so on. No? As a booster, inverter, I have 2 inverters in the house, converting DC power to AC power, and so on. I think I do not want to politicize our discussion today, but hindi maiwasan silang tanong na ito po ay like many of the evil China news, ay pambihis po doon sa dilemma na hinaharap ng ilang mga politiko na sinasabi na sinungaling si Duterte dahil hindi naman ang dapat na DAA, General Appropriations Act. But actually, ang sinasabi ni Duterte ay invite report, the budget report. So, nahaluan lang ng propaganda counter-action ng ilang mga political action. So, kaya nga ang sagot ng Chinese Ministry, Foreign Ministry ay kanilang laging utos sa kanilang mga citizens ibang bansa ay sumunod sa mga batas ng mga bansa kinalalagyan nila. It's not really a fighting group.
If you ask me, the Chinese are interested only in one thing, the Philippines. US military troops. That's the face. They don't need spice to know. They don't even have to send one single Chinese soldier in case it breaks out and it's a base that's not used to, mainland China decides to take over Taiwan and we get it go.
Yeah, actually, ang reaction ko doon sa spy report na yun, tinignan ko yung mga ito. Hindi naman kailangan ng Amerikano, hindi kailangan ng Chino, ang mga kanyang on-the-ground spy monitoring. Kasi yung mga satellites, daan ng mga satellites na down to several feet lang ang accuracy na makunan ang mga intelligence assets na gusto nilang so, it's just story lang. Sabi nga nung sino ba yung lagi from the past, I will not try to remember anymore, but si matandang Jose Laurel, ang yung storytelling alive. Storytelling alive. Anyway, so let's see, ECE, base sa picture yung orange na device ay inverter yan. Kakawit sa car battery and so on. Wala pa rin mapulo natin. Huwag po tayo mga sa cultural and civilizational discussion po natin. Sabi ni Bertania from the red YouTube, saudang tunay nga na mahabang panahon na ang pinagsamahan ng China at ng ating bansa. Kailangan bang sirain ito dahil lang sa isang walang saysay na proxy war? Okay, if there are other questions, please.
So what are your ways to at least strengthen the ties between the Philippines and China?
Well, I think, I give the floor to Cynthia or to, okay? Nandiyan ba si Cynthia? Would Cynthia like to?
There's there and like the answer the questions for you.
I don't see her name there, isn't it? Yeah, there you are. Why are you hiding from us? Yeah, can you see us? Can you hear us? Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Anything you'd like to add to our discussion?
I'm sorry, I was not able to clearly hear about the question. Can you pardon?
My question is, what are the ways to strengthen the ties between the Philippines and China?
What kind of
What are the ways to strengthen the ties between Philippines and China?
shared culture?
What are the ways to strengthen the ties between the Philippines and China?
I'm sorry, can you write the questions in the blog?
Yeah, can you check it, Jota? Anyway, while we're waiting for Cynthia, Dr. Cynthia Leong to respond, maybe we can ask, okay?
Well, I think what we can, the more lasting relationship is we always say people to people, relationship. So we should continue promoting that. And like I said, we should set aside the
Okay. Yeah, okay. Right now, I can see the questions already. What are the ways to strengthen the ties between the Philippines and China? Yeah. Thank you very much for this question. Actually, this is also the question for me during the past years, because this is also one of my tasks and also my mission to work for the ties and friendship between the Philippines and China. From my point of view, I think firstly, people to people exchange is really very important. And this is, for one thing, this is based on the long history between our two people, because we have the very good friendship more than 1,000 years. So especially with the intermarriage, no matter Filipino, married Chinese people in China and living in China, and also a Chinese married Filipino living in the Philippines. We have a lot of these kind of intermarriages in our two countries. So I believe that people to people exchange, no matter by culture, by education, and also by economics ways and trading, we have this kind of history for so many years. This is the first and generally to say ways. And how to exchange culture. I think we do have a lot of ways. For example, we can exchange for our even some pop culture. I know a lot of Filipino friends. They like Chinese shows, Chinese TV show series, and also they like Chinese films. And for me, many of my Chinese friends also, they would really like to watch more Filipino films and know more about the Filipino culture, no matter traditional culture and pop culture. But especially for Chinese, the problem is we really don't have enough ways and enough opportunities to get those kind of information like films, TV shows, or pop culture, music, public songs, this kind of cultural content. And according to my students, Filipino students especially, they really want to watch more Chinese films. So I think this is one thing we can explore in the future. Maybe we can do more TV shows or film exchange, no matter by commercial ways or by like public welfare ways. Like sometimes we can do some Chinese film festival in the Philippines, and sometimes we can hold Philippine film festival in China. These are some ways for pop culture and also for traditional culture. In recent years, I have, together with some of my colleagues and Filipino friends and Chinese friends, we have been trying to hold a lot of like public lectures and trainings for traditional medicine in the Philippines. And we also invited some Filipino friends visiting China to study traditional medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. So this is for one end. Filipino friends learn traditional Chinese medicine culture. And for us from Chinese, we also would like to know more about traditional Philippine medicine, because we know, like in Asia and some other area of the world, our traditional wisdom, our traditional culture actually work for our health, especially during the COVID period of time. Some herbs and some traditional treatments, they did help us a lot. So this is another way for traditional culture. These are 2 points for cultural exchange. And for other education exchange, my point of view is, especially in right now, the technology, like no matter internet or AI technologies, we have a lot of ways to help our people to understand or work together, especially our research project. We can hold together and work together, and even we can do some research and write academic papers and publish in Chinese version or in English version. And recently, by the way, I would like to share with you some good news. In this year, I will publish a book, maybe in 2 languages version. One is English language, the other version is in Chinese language. So I'm going to invite not only Filipino scholars, but also from some other Asian country scholars to work together. So this is another way from academic field or education field. Since past several years, and especially these coming years, one of my important work and task is to link together Philippine universities and Chinese universities. We set up some measures, especially to give more opportunities to our students from the 2 countries. We call it international courses. So in this kind of several international courses, we invite Filipino professors and Chinese professors work together to set up some curriculum, not only fit Chinese students, but also fit Filipino students. So this is the second point. How can we strengthen our ties together by higher education, exchange and collaborations? And the third point is, we understand that language is really very important while we communicate. So we try to, like, in our own ways, to invite more Filipino professors, or even English language teachers to teach Chinese, not only higher education students, but also like kids. The other way is, we also try our best to invite Chinese, especially mother tongue Chinese, to teach Filipino Mandarin. And even maybe in the future, we can try some like Hokkien and Cantonese. So this is the third point, by language exchange. And the fourth is, especially I know recent years, even we have some conflicts in the past 2 years between the Philippines and China, but I do believe, especially based on the long history of our trading and friends, we still need to do more trading. And the fact and the truth right now in China is a lot of companies, no matter big companies owned by the states or middle-sized or even some minor sized companies, they want to go to Southeast Asia, and including the Philippines. But they need some help. So this is also, I think, for our Filipino companies, Filipino friends, this is also opportunities to, for example, to do some joint venture and also create some new channels or opportunities for Chinese companies by trading and economics ways. These are some points I would like to share with you. And looking forward more ideas from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liang.
Any other questions?
Opening answer. Are there any other questions from the?
Let's ask another message from Madam Cynthia, from Dr. Cynthia, and then start looking to. Can she hear us?
Yeah, you still can hear.
Final message from Dr. Cynthia.
Another question for me? Sorry.
You have any final message?
Have a final message for
Okay. Yeah. In Chinese, especially Spring Festival, means prosperities and hope for coming new year. And we say the spring is really a very new and good start for a year. So my final message for all of audience and all of our friends here, I hope everyone of here will have a prosperity and happiness and wellness new year. And I hope really for our long better friendship in the future between the Philippines and China. And we do hope to see a harmony and friendship in the future. Long years. Thank you.
Let's hear from Mr. Joaquin.
I think for the Chinois or for the local Chinese, even in the Chinese living in the Philippines, our message that hopefully they can participate even more actively in nation building in the Philippines economic development, because that's what we really need: economic development to uplift the life of our people. And as to the two countries, the Philippines and China, we hope that the stress will be on economic development, not on territorial dispute. And with that, if we can do that, I think that our celebration of Spring Festival or Chinese New Year will become more and more meaningful. Okay, thank you.
And as far as my point of view is concerned, I think we have had a very successful first cultural discussion in our forum here. And we will have more of these. I will just repeat the slogans that I try to advocate with regard to civilizational and cultural issues. We wish we now enter an era of forever peace and prosperity for the whole of mankind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
first cultural discussion for the Asian Century Philippines. I hope you enjoyed and learned. We're enlightened by the discussion. Thank you to everyone who joined us, Dr. Kim from Zoom, author Mr. Steen, and Bandaran, of course. Thank you to everyone who watched this stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom, and who watched it later in the replay. God bless. Have a good day. Okay.